Chapter 29. The moral of the story is you're going to get back what you invest in. It's going to take vision, planning, time, and a little bit of luck. What others call luck, I like to call God's favor. I believe that God is willing to intervene on our behalf. We didn't do mornings in my family growing up. Dad had a job when he got off around 11:30 to 1 a.m. Well, 11:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. depending if it was the closing shift and whether he went to the store on his way home. He was a pizza driver for most of my formative years, so I grew up on a pizza, mess-ups, and lots of love. I still love pizza, and some people I know give me a hard time over it. I learned pizza can come in many forms. Dad made an art out of it with tortillas. Mom made more of a deep dish. To this day, garlic bread pizza is one of my favorites, made with real garlic bread loaves. So going to bed at 8 p.m. wasn't a good idea. If we went to bed too early, we would wake up too early and Dad would still be sleeping. Frankly, Mom would too. I remember a lot of my childhood, and I remember them training me to go back to bed. Dad would point to the clock from under his covers and say, "Come back when that number is a 1 and a 2. There will always be 2 numbers in front of it, and 2 numbers behind the ... Then he would fall asleep. Many times, at the age of 3 and 4, I was told to come back in a few hours, unless there was an emergency. I got pretty good at turning on the TV in the morning and making a mess of cereal until my mom would come in at 10:30 to 11 a.m. My Aunt Donna was horrified when she found out that I didn't have a bedtime. When I would spend the night at her house, she would put in Ninja Turtles, the original, and I would rewind the VHS about 2.5 times before I would fall asleep. I remember Aunt Donna asking me, very confused, "So, do you know how to work the VHS player?" And my 4 to 5-year-old self said, yes. By then I was a pro. For decades, I was the first one up, and now, when I call my mom, I am still the first one up. Growing up, I had to set my own bedtime. Mom told people when they are tired, they will go to bed. What about school? They wake up for school at 8 a.m. They will be tired sooner or eventually go to bed sooner. I don't remember who my mom told that conversation with, I don't remember who my mom had that conversation with, but I remember thinking over those concepts. And I thought I might need to set myself a bedtime. In general, it is around 10:30 p.m. to midnight, and has been since as long as I can remember. I usually had an afternoon nap. I also had an alarm clock. I remember being little. For the first few years, Mom set her alarm clock and got me up. As my brother made it to kindergarten and I was in the 3rd grade, I felt a little responsible and asked Mom what was taking so long to get me to school. She simply said, "If you want to ride to school, you need to wake me up earlier." I lived 2 blocks away, and one time I walked to school. My mother was horrified, but I mulled this over too. Mom still set her alarm clock, but I started setting mine early enough to get ready and for Mom to drag my brother out of bed. I can't count the amount of times I was tardy. I do know in junior high school, when I needed a ride to the bus, I was late a lot. It was to the point that I decided to pray for God to make the bus late on the days I was late. What use is it to praying for something after it's already started? God, please make the bus late on the days I'm running late. And he did, a lot. For me, it was a miracle. It was also a lesson on how to pray. Mom will sometimes still try to give me advice. It's good advice, and lately, I've been saying, "Mom, that's good advice. But you taught me that when I was 12. I learned it then, and have been doing that since then." "I was raising myself when I was raising you," she replied. Sometimes we are raising ourselves. We are teaching ourselves habits to apply to life. Sometimes habits we are trying to grow out of. Some habits we are simply going to have to learn to work around or tweak. We all have pasts. We all have habits. We all have had dreams. Our future is the thing in question. You have all the tools you need to start. Just because you are over the age of 18 doesn't mean your life is over. It is simply marking of new responsibility added to you. Children gain tools from their parents to live life. I found that I liked the way my mother handled me. She didn't slam much down my throat. She said, "Do it. It will have consequences. You better be prepared for what those consequences are." I have tried to be prepared for all of the consequences that have impacted my life, because I have gone through life with that perspective. I am proud of 99% of my choices. They aren't the choices my brother made. They aren't the choices my parents made. But frankly, I am me. All I need to worry about is how I feel about my life, because I am the one living it. Do other people have bigger dreams for my life than I do? Maybe. I have been mostly happy my entire life, and most people don't have that. I have had many dreams over the years. I dreamt of college and I went. That was a headache, but I finished my degree. I dreamt of seeing the ocean, and I did that. I saw the Grand Canyon and rode on a few airplanes. Those things all seemed like things you did if you were rich when I was a kid. I went on most of my airplane rides as mission trips to Texas and Arizona. Life isn't what you expect when you are a kid. But for me, it's so much more. I hope you are able to dream it and do it. If you do it, it will be worth it. Chapter 29, the last chapter. I hope you've enjoyed me reading this book, and I hope your dreams come true. And that little dream that God planted in your heart when you were 5 years old, I hope that comes true too. Because if He planted it then, it's still true. Until next time, love you guys.